membrane. Now I got pictures too. Okay, here we go. Okay, go ahead and fill that one in. And I'll come back and talk to you. Y'all know why I changed the amino acids, right? I want the big, I want the macromolecule, not the macro. All those on there are the macro molecules. When I threw in the acid, I threw in one macro. I don't want a macro in my macros. So now that's how I want. I gotta go back and change that that to student copy too if I get it back. And it's quarter when I do this thing. They say, Mr. Tim, you got two blanks here and you got one word on there, and I'll be done messed up again. Right here, right? Those are the things a cell must have to live. It must have oxygen. It must have carbs. It must have proteins. It must have lipids. It must have minerals. Now, there's no DNA up there, right? Most times that is going to be manufactured by the cell. You got to take it in. All right. Now, you must get water, right? You must have. Can you overwater a tree or a plant?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, you can. When we build a dam and we back the water up and we flood these valleys, many life die. You realize that the Lake Otter was built back in 1925. There were Indian villages all along the Chattahoochee, and we covered them all with water. I wasn't born there, of course, I know y'all would. But I heard from my older professor that people were begging them, one more year, so we can go down here and get all the pottery and get all the stuff. They didn't wait. They built that dam, closed the gates, the water backed up and slowly covered all those Indian villages. That if you had scuba gear, could dive down there, you'd see them. If you can see through the muddy water, as the Teddy River. But I didn't think about that. But you got to remember, that's where they built a village, because that river was their highway. There are no dams on it, right? They just paddle from one village and go visit relatives in another village. We get in a car and drive, right? On our highway, the rivers were their highways. We dammed them up because we want to spin those turbines and make our electricity for us. Indians have electric lights in their house? No, they were. I kind of envied their lifestyle. In a way, they had a nice, pure lifestyle. But when we built those dams and the folks around here, the ones who are interested in Indian culture, says, please give us time to get down there. And, well, the folks said, are you going to know there next year? You're going to know there next year. You're going to know there next year. So we're going to build it now. You have 3 months to get ready. And they built the dam and covered up those villages, and I still kind of regret that, because I never saw them ever. They said it was priceless what they covered up. The villages that have been there for hundreds of years on the banks of the river. Now, if you go up there behind the dam, the waters come through. You still find things that there, because the water can't back up to the next dam, right? But behind the dam, right here, because you know the rapids they talk about building new rapids, those have always been there. And boats could come up Chattahoochee River to Columbus. That's why they go. They couldn't go over the rock. So Columbus has always been kind of like a port city. We've always been that way. And now they're going to tear the dams down, let the river flow again, and make the rapids like it used to be. I'm looking forward to seeing that. I ain't getting out there though. I ain't that stupid. But there are folks in kayaks who will, and well, I got one. I probably drowned that myself. But they're going. I'm looking forward to seeing the river like the Indians saw it 300 years ago. That's gonna be cool. That's gonna be cool. And if you drive across this the new bridge behind the dam, you can see the rocks down there. And if you go out there fishing, there's fish all in the rocks. Good fishing. Y'all thought you drive across and see people standing on the banks out there fishing, because it's hard to get down there. First off, you can't get your backhoe down there, but you can put a little bateau down there or a canoe in a heartbeat. I fished down there before. It's nice. Now, Alright. I'm showing you a picture here of a cell, and then right next to it, a little clip of the cell membrane. I'm talking about this thing right here. Right there. That separates the inside from the outside. We call this intracellular, and we call this extracellular. It doesn't mean it means outside. So you have intracellular and you have extracellular. All it means is inside the cell, outside the cell. But for a long time we thought that cell membrane was like a little line. Actually, it's two lines. It's two lines with little feet between them. If you picture a balloon with two strings tied to it, that's how one of these things look. If you picture a balloon with two ribbons coming down off of it, that is all these balloons together would form a surface, right? And the balloons under it would be, so if I have balloons on both sides with the strings this way, that's exactly how the cell membrane looks. And those little balloons are made of fat. They're fat. So can water go through that structure? No, water can't go through fat. Fat won't dissolve in water, therefore water can't go through fat. And that's a good barrier. It works great to keep the water in the cell, it keeps it there. The water outside the cell, it keeps it there. It's a good barrier. Perfect. I mean, you couldn't think of a better one to have than that. Because fat is a great barrier against water. Alright. When it's illegal now for some, used to go whaling. Where would they find the bigger whales? Up in the Arctic or by the tropics?
In the Arctic.
Why the biggest about the Arctic?
Because the fat keeps them.
They had all the fat in them to insulate them from what? The cold water. Do you know fat oil can burn in a lantern to make a light? For a long time, we use fat oil like you use gasoline right now. They take that well and kill the sucker and drag it onto the boat and then take the fat off and liquefy the fat, and that became fuel. And that's why the wells were so hunted down, and then they thought, well, we found oil now, maybe we lay off the wells. But wells are still, they're hard. They don't make many babies very fast. So if you kill 5 whales in a month, it's going to take years. They kill more than 5 whales, as you well know. But it's the fat. They don't go whale hunting down there by Panama. Because the whales there, they don't need fat. They go up there in the Arctic, harsh weather, your decks freeze. Those sailors, like those shows about the folks up there crabbing, it's just that bad. I would not want to do it. I know they make good money, but some things ain't worth money in my mind. So one thing in my life. But I'll show you a better picture of that. But here's the thing. What I call fat really are phospholipids. What's the word lipid mean? Fat. And these lipids have phosphorus attached to them. That's what they call a phospholipid. They're still fat. It works great to keep things out. And they're proteins, because see that door right there, you walk in this room right here? These walls keep you out, don't they? This door lets you in, that door lets you in. If they're unlocked, you get in. If they're locked, you wait outside until the door opens. Well, there are proteins in here that act like doors. The protein opens, the protein closes. So something has to get in that cell that can't go through the fat. So I wait for the door to open.
So the protein in the cell?
The proteins that are buried in this layer up here. Like there's the wall, and there are doors in this wall. I'll show you a better picture later on. But the doors, a big molecule can't get through that. You can't get through the wall here, can you? So you wait for the door to open, right? Well, a big molecule, in these cells, the door is a protein. And the protein it's a round protein. It can open and let things in, and close and keep things out. Of all the things in the world, only proteins can change their shape because of hydrogen bonds. So when it's time to keep things out, the protein closes. Time to let things in, the door opens. The door closes. That's how the cell controls what comes in. Then the question becomes, well, who controls the door? We don't know. In that cell membrane, who unlocks the door to let the glucose come in? We don't know that question. We suspect it might be a hormone that arrives at the door because a hormone senses the presence outside of glucose. It's like me look out my window and I see you there, I come unlock the door for you, right? If I don't see you there, will I unlock the door? No. So we think maybe a hormone inside the cell is standing watch at the door. And if the hormone senses the presence of a glucose molecule, he will open the door to the glucose in. Now, if outside the door there is a big old germ, do we open the door then? A germ might just knock the wall down though, like a virus. He'll bore holes in the wall. A virus actually take like a drill and drill holes in the wall and come into the wall. And then he gets inside the cell where we are, he hijacks us. We start making new viruses. We ain't supposed to. And we make more and more, and the place is crammed and crammed and crammed, and next thing you know, the cell burst. And out goes the viruses that we made. Then they go and infect other cells. That's how the flu spreads. Can you kill a virus with penicillin?
Yeah.
You can't kill what's not living. A virus ain't alive. A virus is not living. All a virus is a protein. It's, M&M's are the candy with chocolate inside it.
Mm-hmm.
All a virus is a protein coat with DNA inside it. There's no ribosomes. There's nothing in there. How do you kill that? The body can. The body can take it apart. But the problem is, though, the body kills them very slowly. If one arrives, we can handle it. What if 50,000 arrive at one time? We can't. We overrun, like Alamo was, and that's how we get sick. Because we can handle one or two at a time. We can't handle an onslaught like somebody sneezes on you, then you get sick because of it. But this cell membrane, it wasn't until they developed the electron scope that we can see the, because right now, the scope we have, we use light. Light shines up through, we saw the slide, light shines up through it, up through both those, there's a lens down here, as you know, the objective, which might be the blue or the yellow or the white. Up through the two lenses, it bends and comes in. Now, if those lenses are messed up, it's going to be blurry. They got to be perfect. And then, of course, you can turn the knob. You turn the knob, you raise and lower the specimen to get it right in the perfect zone to see it. And I'll tell you right now, I told you earlier, if I get one focusing me and let you look at it, it might be out of focus for you. Then you got to turn the knob and make it focus. And then you say, hey, look at this. And that person, they got to make turn it them. It's rare that you look at a scope that I left and you see what I saw. I see, if I say, look at this stuff. If they don't turn their slide, then what do I know? They ain't look at that thing. They ain't look at that thing. And so, but we have learned a whole lot more with the advent of electrons are so tiny. They can illuminate the smallest parts of the cell. But you can't, college, we can't afford to buy an electron scope. You're talking $100,000 for one piece of equipment. Who's going to fix it when it breaks? It's another big bill. Only, Florida State, the big universities, they can afford it. I ain't sure Tech had one, Georgia Tech, I ain't sure they got one or not. I think UGA does. Mercer, I don't know. I know UCA does. I think Boston College has one. But you don't find those, you find these scopes in all the colleges. But the electron scope, that's why it costs you a lot of money to go there. Somebody got to buy that scope, because it's going to buy it. Student tuition buys it. So we can charge you less money because we ain't got equipment they have. And we bought a scope, then you probably can afford to come here then. So it all boils down to the rich get richer. Poor try to get richer. Poor Moses holds their own if they're lucky. All right. Now, about that membrane. Now, I already told you some of this stuff, and so it shouldn't be news to you. That membrane's got a number of functions. Now, one of them is serves as a. That thing's all broken up like that. I don't like that. It shouldn't be all broken up. It should be continuous. I don't mind the square there's been a bullet. It should look like that. That's how it was because my error lines up. All right, go back where it was. All right, that's a boundary. Now the stuff inside, remember that's called cytoplasm or cytosol. Would that be intra or extracellular, the cytoplasm? That'd be intra. Intra. The external environment, intra or extra. That's extra. That's why it's outside the cell. And that membrane is what separates two. I don't want the inside mixing with the outside. It's like these walls keep out the rain and keep out the cold weather, that kind of stuff. For this here would be intra. Some pine trees out there would be extra if this were a cell that you're sitting in. Now, but can you go outside? Mm-hmm. You go to that door there. Now the door is locked. On both sides, you can't get out, of course. And that's how the cell works. Cell works. All right. And do it again. Let me close this gap up. All right. I don't have one.
A what?
A screen door in your house. Are they becoming more rare? Yeah. Now, I used to have a storm door that you let the window down with a screen there, right? But I ain't have that anymore. In my house, open the door, in comes dogs and bugs and everything else. I like to have a screen again because it gets cool outside there. Now, my windows have screens. Raise the window up and the screen keeps out the birds and the bees and don't keep out the ants, I don't believe. They still come in. And if it was real hot or real wet, we get ants. Wife gets mad. Honey, you can't stop it. And the ants are everywhere. She thinks something wrong with her house. I said, no, I don't care what. The White House probably has the same problem we do. If it's extremely dry outside, they're coming where the water is, buddy. They're going to be around your sink. They're going to make a little line from where they're coming right across the sink. Boy, she takes her little spray out. She starts, she loves to kill ants. Now she's scared of a bug, but not an ant. If she sees a beetle, she calls for me. Like a beetle man. When did I give her a spray? I said, spray that thing. And she'll spray it. Then the problem is, I ain't going to pick it up. If it lay in her bath, if she was a single woman, in her bathtub, she wouldn't take a bath for months probably. She finally broke down and had to get that thing out. I even bought a little handheld vac. I said, here, use this vac. It might get out. You get out of that vac, you just kill the sucker. So usually I hear this, I hear a little yelp. And I go, oh God, there's a roach back there. And she done yelped at it, and it'll keep her in the bathtub. She won't come out. That's what I'm watching for. Wait till halftime, I'll be back there in a minute. When's halftime? Another 45 minutes. You come back here now. And it's, but I love her still. I wish she would take a class on insects and maybe lose some of her fear of them. She just has an innate fear of insects, and it might be a phobia. She just flat doesn't get along with bugs. But she married a husband who kind of likes them. I did my master's degree in college, and I had to do an insect collection. Guess where I kept my bugs? In the freezer of her refrigerator. She didn't know that for the longest time. And she remembered one day looking at popsicles. And she found my bugs in the popsicle container. I heard you scream. I said, oh God.
She found them.
And I said, they've been there, I know, for at least 2 weeks. What are you doing looking at it? I wanted a popsicle, and I found a big old bug. I said, well, don't bother that bug, he's frozen. See what he doing. And I thought there was a bug infection in here, but the weather's changing. All I do is I catch my bug I wanted to do, and then if you let him dry, you can't move his legs. And when you mount a bug on a bug pin, you got to do the legs a certain way. So what I do, I would catch my bug. My mama called me, Bobby, there's a big old bug up here. I drive 30 miles. And there was a big old dobson, big old pincers. This thing was an awesome looking critter. I didn't touch that thing. So I got gloves on, I got him in the container, and them big old pincers doing over here. I thought, I just see him just tear my finger up. Found out that's the male. And they're so long they have no power. But the females are short, and she'll fire you up. But I said, it looks bad to me. So I took it home, didn't know what it was at the time. I went to school with the professor, that's a Dobson fly, and looked and showed it. I took it home, I put it in the freezer, because I knew, he said that, if you can't mount the bug right now, then freeze it solid. When it thaws out, you can still move the legs. But if you kill the bug and set it on your counter, one day it's going to dry like concrete, and try to move the legs, they'll break off. Any bug with broken legs could be in your collection. So I froze them all the time. And I would usually put them in a box and slide them back in the freezer so she wouldn't see them. I wasn't hiding them, but I knew she'd freak out. And I should have known better to put them in a popsicle container. I should like popsicle. But then again, I thought, that's a good way to keep my popsicles. My popsicles, you don't know what's in them. It's a barrier to my wife. But she let me do it. She, as long as she couldn't see them, she was all right. And she didn't bother. And she didn't, but when she took it out and it surprised her, and that's when she got mad at me. I told her, shut up, I'm the boss. You think that ain't good? Yeah, I might be bigger, but I ain't the boss. Because when the little lady ain't happy, ain't nobody happy. All right? Let me fix this slide. I don't like the gap that makes it drive it down. Now, the other slide said the cell membrane keeps things out, and you knew it does. It also provides a way for cells to talk. Cell to cell. Cells, not like me talking to y'all. The cells, do bees communicate to each other? But do they talk? So you have to talk to communicate, do you? So cells can communicate without talking. They use chemicals. You ever heard of the wag dance a bee does? How they wag their... A bee will go out, a worker will go out and find a bed of flowers, all that food, and come back to the hive and get on the wall, and the bee does a circle. And then he'll walk across the circle, wagging his tail. Another circle, wagging his tail. Another circle. Other bees are feeling this. That wag is telling other bees what direction to fly, and the number of circles he does is how far away the thing is. Ain't that cool? They don't draw maps and drive down this road, turn left. It's just simply flying this direction for this far and look down, and there's the flowers. It's called the wag dance. And it's on the internet now. It's the coolest thing. And we even had, we even had people doing the wag dance on a dance floor. Checking the honey around. I said, man, what they're trying to tell, I don't know what they're trying to tell the person they're dancing with. That was the stupidest thing I've seen in my life. But bees do it, and it makes perfect sense, the wag dances. And as they walk, and they're wagging the abdomen, and the direction they walk is the direction we're going to fly when we leave the hive. That's so cool. And the question I have is, who taught them that? I know I didn't teach them that. So some things, some behaviors, you go, how in the world did the behavior get started? How does it keep going? And how does it mean anything? Well, you know it does, though. And on hot days, you'll find bees at the mouth of the hive just spanning the wings. Like they're trying to take off. All they're doing is cooling the hive. Bees have a very, very complicated society. And of course, they're silent insects, but folks who study bees just are fascinated with the behavior of bees. And when they swarm, they don't sting you. I ain't getting near one, but they can cover y'all up. You've seen folks cover that probably. They're not being stung. They're on your hands. But I myself don't care to test those theories. Recognition. You've got to be able to recognize a bug, I say germ, that you didn't make. Or he would get in your body and make you sick. The way you fight disease is that when that little bacterium, you eat it or you breathe it in, or you step on a nail, it's on the nail in your foot, or you cut your hand with the glass, it goes in. You got to recognize that foreign particle as foreign so you can kill that thing. He's in you for one reason, dinner. You're it. So what your body does is your white blood cells go around touching cells. Well, I recognize you. I recognize. Then I find a bacteria. But whoa, where'd you come from? They have off their cell. All cells do little tags, little name tags. And when the white blood cell goes, ooh, you weren't born here. They can't see. They feel it. Then the white blood cell kills that foreign cell, which of course is good for you. Now here's the problem though. If your baby is something positive and you are something negative, your baby has some proteins that you don't have. And if during your pregnancy you make contact and you sense your baby's blood, you start to fight your baby blood. Your antibodies will cross your placenta, enter your baby, and kill your baby. Happens all the time. It's called the race disease. We can now stop it. But back in the old days, and back with the covered wagons and folks, they'd have one child, next child would die, next child would live, next two childs would be born dead. That's what was happening. I am O negative. My wife is O positive. In our case, when we got married, we had to take a blood test. Not anymore, they don't, I don't believe. I can go back. So to get our license, we had to show our blood test to the court. And then they would give you our marriage license. The blood test told me that I was negative and she was positive. And then the doctor explained to us that, her name is Jimmy, that when you get pregnant with his child, there's no way that you can kill that baby. Now, if I were positive and she were negative, that's the problem. Because if I gave that baby my blood type and inside her, she's going to see a germ, her baby, And what's she gonna do naturally? She's gonna kill it. So we have now a drug called Rogaine. We give Rogaine to any person with that combination. And now, matter of fact, they do it now just routinely to everybody. And what the Rogaine does is so good, it just stops you from killing the blood antibodies. It won't stop you from fighting from pneumonia, which is good. All Rogaine does is you give it to the lady, and then she will not make the antibodies that would have killed her baby. You give it to her in a few weeks before birth, and again after birth. Because what you want to be sure of is that if she is pregnant again, you don't want her to be sensitized waiting to kill that second baby. And what often happens, the first baby always lives anyway. But by the time the mama sees the baby, he gets born. It's the second baby that doesn't make it. Because the antibodies mama makes, they stay there all the time. So if she is pregnant again, with the same blood type again, then that baby ain't got a chance. Baby's born dead. Always had the first one, then the second one dies. Now, what happens if the third baby is her blood type? No problem. So the first two babies, let's say I'm positive, well, my blood type, she's negative. First two babies, the first baby makes it because mom ain't got time to kill it. The second baby in my blood type, mom kills it. The next baby inherits her blood type. Will she kill it? No. The next baby gets my blood type. Will she kill it? Yes. But now we have that brand new miracle drug, and there's no longer a problem at all. And I know that. I think my mama received that thing, because my daddy is positive. And my mama back in, I was born in 50, so even back then we knew about it, and we were given a shot back then, so this ain't brand new drug. But if you live somewhere overseas, like in this real, backwards, poor country, you have to look at a draw, you take chances. You might have been pregnant 5 times, and I got 2 kids to show for it, because of Rh disease. And right there, the second thing, if your body sees, I don't mean like look, if it senses the presence of a protein it did not make, that's a foreign protein. And the immune system will kill it. If it's a germ, good. If it's your baby, not good. Because the body don't recognize one from another. It just goes, I didn't make it, I'm going to kill it. That's how your body figures it. And it's just that cut and dry. But with the baby, we've solved that problem in our country real well. There's no people now having this problem in America. But if you were to move to another country, because you're a missionary, then you might have to suffer that because they don't have the medicine we have here. All right. Well, let me see what's next. I think we're done. Yeah. We come in tomorrow.